settled in last year, had a strong regular season, but Fisher knows what he's doing on the bench. He's won 5 titles with the Lakers, 18-year NBA career, was also head coach of the New York Knicks at one time.
Right, and you think of the players that they lost from last year. Simone Augustus, who retired, who is on the bench for the LA Sparks, an unbelievable player and Olympian for the United States, and with Minnesota and the Sparks with the champions she won there. But Candace Parker went to Chicago. You've got Chelsea Gray and Raquana Williams both went to Las Vegas. Sydney Weiss went to Washington. Anigwe went to Dallas, but now she's back in LA. And so this is a team that, you know, they lost quite a few players from last year's team. And Derek Fisher did a great job recruiting the players that he did to help the Agumake sisters out. Erica Wheeler, who was the first non-drafted player to win MVP of the All-Star game a few years ago, but Brittany Sykes, Sane, and certainly Zowie B, who was in New York and struggled because New York had such a tough year last year, but Zowie B saying, hey, I'm going to come, and Derek Fisher really knows how to sell it.
How beautiful was that, seeing Diana Taurasi go out to midcourt for the opening tip, and boy, they're looking sharp in their black unis. I am digging the PHX Mercury jerseys on a Sunday afternoon. Griner and Zowie B up, and away. And number 3 is back. Needs just 6 more points to reach 9,000 in her career. Of course, the all-time leading scorer by far in the WNBA. She starts the deep shot, comes up a little shy.
Now she's got Taya Cooper on her, who the Sparks drafted a year ago, and because of the bubble and the COVID-19, they really couldn't keep her on the roster, and the Sparks were able to pick her up. She's coming off a career high against Washington, 26 points.
Wheeler straight away for 3. A little strong, rebounded by Bree Turner. Taurasi flicks it up ahead. Skylar on the charge. Reverses course, blocked from behind by Wheeler. There's that defense from LA. They are a gritty team.
Now they're 3rd in the league in blocked shots.
And you have to honor that shot of Zowie B. She has that range. She can post up inside, she can step out and shoot the 3.
Now most of her shots are going to come from the outside.
Skylar trying to feed Brittany Griner. It goes off of Phoenix, and LA will have it. Sparks have lost 4 of their last 6. Again, without Christy Tolliver, along with the Aglumakes. NECA has been out 4 to 6 weeks is her timetable. She still has a couple more weeks before she might return. And Shanae has basically been week to week, both of them with knee injuries.
Now Cooper just kind of falls down. Nurse did a nice job defensively keeping her hands up.
Kia Nurse, man, she gets that shot going. This Phoenix team is even more lethal with Taurasi and Skylar out there posting up. Turner, another feed inside from Skylar, and Turner finishes with the left.
Well, certainly the advantage that the Mercury can take is Turner inside, and at 6'3", she's so good around the basket, and she's great at running the floor, but, you know, she's a decoy off of Brittany Griner.
How about that? A quick timeout called by Derek Fisher. It's a 2-0 Mercury lead. Taurasi back in action.
Like playing a game and being in that, you know, game routine and game conditions. So, you know, that'll eventually come. But, you know, I feel good. I feel like, you know, I'll be ready to go tomorrow.
And Andy Sandy Brandello said she'll be talking with Diana throughout the game and expects her to play up to 30 minutes in this one. She also expects LA to be extremely physical with Diana.
We know that these two teams split, so this is a rubber match game. But the biggest thing that a lot of the players and Sandy talked about, that the Mercury are 1-5 at home. The players are frustrated. They have not played well at home. And the X Factors have always been supported. Pretty good crowd today, and they want to come and show and give a better show as far as playing the game to their fans.
Yeah, Diana called that unacceptable, being 1-5 here at home so far this season. She played the first 4 games of the year, sustained the injury, the fractured sternum in a game at Connecticut. Deep shot, and down it goes for Taya Cooper. Well, she has that long range, and she's coming off a career-high game against the Mystics when she scored 26.
Yeah, that's her 9th three-pointer.
Back comes Kia Nurse, drills a 3.
Certainly a nice feeling for Kia Nurse, and she probably, as much as anybody, needed that break to work on a lot of little different things in her game.
And she will be a surefire Olympian for Canada when they announce their team. And it's interesting, too, with Kia. She's averaging 12 points in the Mercury wins, only 7 in the losses. Zowie B denied and rebounded by Griner.
And Griner really doesn't have to jump. Does a nice job staying on the ground.
Taurasi still looking for her first field goal in her return. Misses her first 2 shots. Zowie B flips it back outside. Nia Coffey, who's played for the Mercury last year, the southpaw. Very effective player in this LA system. Taurasi there defensively with the block of Cooper.
Well, certainly coming out of that timeout for the Sparks, you know that Derek Fisher said, we've got to be aggressive. We've got to go inside and attack. And that's exactly what they've done on their last 2 possessions.
Nurse feeding Griner. Skip pass. Diggins Smith puts it on the floor. Pull up. Little wide right. And ripped out of there by Coffey. Nia Coffey, 5th year out of Northwestern. She has bounced around the league, including, as I mentioned, last season with Phoenix, but she was dealing with hand and foot injuries, it seemed like, for most of the year in the wobble.
She talked about, you've got to keep positive. You've got to find the right team and the right players that you're playing with and the right coach. And, she was an unbelievable player at Northwestern for Joe McEwen.
Wheeler with a step back. She hit the clutch shot late in the first meeting between these 2 teams in LA with about 8 seconds to go. Shot it over Griner. Help the Sparks with that first win. Taurasi's going to go to the line for a couple of free throws. So the first 2 meetings in LA, June 16th, Sparks won it 85-80. Mentioned that clutch shot by Wheeler, who finished with the double-double, 18 points, 10 assists. Griner had 30 points and 10 rebounds in the loss for the Mercury. Then Phoenix comes back 2 days later and slams the Sparks, winning by 14, led by Skylar's 21, and Bree Turner, and he was sensational in that game. 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals.
Well, she's a player that can take pressure off of Brittany Griner. As we know, as far as her rebounding, she's one of the top rebounders in the league. She was on the all-defensive team 2 years ago, but also the fact that she can not only handle the ball, but she needs to take more than 3 to 5 shots. And she's capable of doing it. We saw early on in this season that she was turning away shots, which really doesn't help her teammates at all.
Couple of free throws by Diana Taurasi. Back cut. Brittany Sykes misses the layup. One of the most athletic players in the league. You won't see that very often from Sykes.
So exciting to watch play. And this is what she wants. She wants to be like Elena Beard. Elena Beard, a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year for the LA Sparks. She wants that. She wants to be and she not only Defensive Player of the Year, she's coming off a game where she had 7 steals against Washington.
And she's 3rd in the league in steals. Had one there, resulted in 2 for the Sparks. Handoff, Skylar to Griner, grabs her own miss. Glass, bucket and 1 for Brittany.
Now, Turner made that happen. She's the one that set the screen early, and even though Griner missed that first shot, she stays with it, gets her rebound, goes right into Samuelson, and creates the contact. And there's a nice little dish by Diggins Smith, and a little short right there, but she stays right with it with the 2-handed rebound.
Mentioned that 30 points, 10 boards in the first meeting against LA. They lost that one. Then her numbers dropped in game number 2, yet Phoenix won it. She had 14 points, 8 boards in that second contest. 3-point lead for Phoenix.
Well, the balance scoring in that game 2 was incredible for the Mercury, and they were just not only shooting the ball well, but they played such good defense against the Sparks.
Zowie B drains it from far away. She is shooting 30% from 3-point range, averaging 11 points and 6 rebounds on the season for LA, and we are tied up at 10. Taurasi going deep, down it goes for D. 5 points for Taurasi, needs just 1 more to reach 9,000. Here comes Wheeler, slapped out of there by Turner. Phoenix has numbers. D thought about a 3, feeds inside to Nurse, who had it knocked away. That was Coffey defensively for Los Angeles. Wheeler back over to Nia, the southpaw. Lets it fly.
And you can see Taurasi's a little winded right now, the last couple possessions.
I think Coffey might be as well. It looked like she was telling Derek Fisher, this pace might be a little too much. Skylar on the move, darts in for the bucket.
Well, certainly eventually for the Mercury, because they are deep on the bench and they've had some players that have had to start for Diana Taurasi, so there's confidence. So this is a Sparks team. They're going to have a lot of minutes in this game, but getting in the lane, Erica Wheeler.
Averaging 12.5 points per game. I mean, this is a player who can score. Her career high is 33, and she is going to be free to fire with all the injuries on this roster right now. The sky ball comes up short. Griner offensive rebound, backing down. Never put it on the floor, spun and scored on Coffee.
Now the Sparks are really going to struggle against Griner when she gets that deep.
Pump fake and a travel there on Zowie B.
Derek Fisher saying, you didn't call it down there. How come you're calling it down here?
And in comes Christine Anigwe. I think all Mercury fans remember her and Brittany Griner when Anigwe was playing for Dallas. And that famous fight that occurred. It broke out, and boy, it went viral in a hurry. But they have patched things up since then.
Yeah, pretty good friends.
We'll see.
That was a while ago. That was a long time. They are friends.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying,
But
on the court, nobody's a friend.
Well, no, and it's not. And it was interesting. I was listening to some of the other broadcasts, and some people were asking about, well, how do the women play against each other? They're so friendly with each other. And it's like anything else. They all played against each other since they've been in high school and USA basketball and over in Europe. They are all competitive once they get on the floor.
Phoenix up two, nearing the 3-minute mark here of the first quarter. Mercury shooting 40% from the field, 6 of 15 so far. There's Wheeler again. Boy, she is primed for a big afternoon.
LA looks really good in their half-court game, and you would think that Phoenix would be up more, but the game is tied. Not
the
now.
Rainbow by Skylar Diggins Smith, hitting rock bottom. There's so much arch on that shot.
Yeah, both teams shooting the ball well.
50% for LA, led by Wheeler's 8. Pass tipped away, goes out of bounds. They'll say LA ball. 9 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, Cunningham did not have her head turned, and Griner had poked it away. It goes back to the Sparks, but here it goes inside. Nice out pass by Sophie Cunningham, and Skylar, as you said, with the sky ball.
Great job by our cameraman following that. It's like a tee shot on the PGA or LPGA. Inside, off the inbounds play to Wheeler. Well executed by Derek Fisher's team.
Yeah, right now defensively, the Mercury do not look sharp, and 53% for the Sparks, and right now Wheeler's already got 10 points.
Skylar trying to use that high screen from Griner, and now we're going to get a moving pick on Brittany Griner of Phoenix. Just a 1-point lead for the Mercury against a depleted LA Sparks team.
But actually, I know a lot of the coaches in the WNBA say that, you know, we want more players on the roster, and it's very difficult to practice, and the games come at you so fast. And but honestly, most coaches only play 7 to 8 players.
That's a good point. Yep. This is a much different team this season for LA, certainly with Candace Parker going to Chicago and Chelsea Gray signing with Vegas. Christy Tolliver came back to LA a couple years ago. She sat out the Wubble last year, but she signed as a free agent to play with Derek Fisher and this Sparks franchise. But boy, it has really changed. The roster has since free agency.
Well, Tolliver won a championship with the LA Sparks, left, went to Washington, won a championship there, and then came back to the Sparks.
Coffee from far away, and she nails it. LA has come to play this afternoon. It's interesting, again, Phoenix, as they'll call a timeout, haven't played in 8 days. In that 8-day span, the Sparks have played twice. They are injury bound in this one, but they have the lead. Valley Sports Arizona is the local television home of the Mercury, the Suns, the D-backs, and Coyotes. You can also stream Mercury games on the Valley Sports app. For more info on the local sports scene, check out valleysports.com. Did you check out that Suns game last night?
A win is a win, boy. It was a grind.
Slugfest.
It was a grind-out win, boy.
I thought I was watching the bad boys, the Pistons. Chris Paul is here this afternoon. They are showing him up on the big screen right now. We're showing him with Robert Sarver and Sir Langston Galloway there as well.
Well, and Chris Paul, after the game, talked about his daughter winning a game-winning shot, and then talked about his son, how important the free throws were, and he missed that one free throw. And you know, he's such a family guy, and he and his wife have a wonderful family. And but you know, his mom and dad have been to all the games, and I had a chance to sit with them in one of the games. But you know, it was what a game. Shots just weren't falling.
No, for me, it was one of the most thrilling wins in Suns playoff history because of the way they won it. Yes, it would have been nice to see more shots drop, but the fact that they were able to pick it up defensively, it was just so intense to watch them getting the stops, and this is something the franchise is not known for. Spins out, and what a show of support, too, to see Chris Paul and Langston here, along with obviously Robert Sarver. I mean, an off day, and they've got the closeout game tomorrow here in downtown Phoenix, but Chris Paul's like, hey, I'm going to go support the Phoenix Mercury this afternoon.
Well, he and Diana Taurasi are pretty close from the U.S. Olympic teams, and it's probably about the first time that they've had a chance to really kind of see each other. And we've seen Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton in the past come to Mercury games. And a lot of the Suns players have supported the Mercury over the years with 3 championships. They've been excited about how the Mercury have won their 3, and the Suns are looking for theirs.
And you mentioned the beast. DeAndre Ayton has been outstanding throughout the playoffs. Such a big part of that win. And the Suns' interior defense against the Clippers. Left-handed layup is good by Cooper. Tough shot in traffic.
Yeah, 4-point lead for the Sparks. The Mercury are really having a tough time figuring out this defense.
Taya Cooper was actually a second-round draft pick of Phoenix and was waived by the Mercury. Plowing inside, Brittany Griner muscles in for 2.
Now the Sparks are just speeding up the pace of this game, and
it's interesting because that's what Sandy Brondello wanted the Mercury to do. She wants her team to speed it up the floor before this LA defense can set.
The Sparks have really good athletes too, and one of the things is they're 6th in the league in 3-point shooting. So if they get that outside shot going, which they are 4 of 6 from 3-point range.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling 9,000 points for Taurasi coming right here. She gets the ball back. She's got 5. She needs 6, but Griner's going to go to work on Anigwe. One-on-one, low block, help from Zowie B. Turns, fires, and connects.
Now the Sparks trying to send a double team. That time Griner was very patient, turning over her other shoulder.
Cooper shut down there by Nurse. Playing off of Cooper. Is not known for her 3-point shot. Most of her offensive production comes on drives. Long shot by Aurela Garantes. Would not fall. Taurasi up ahead to Sophie Cunningham. Well, the energy and the pace just picks up when she's on the floor. Nurse not close.
Taurasi just sees the floor so well. She's making some great passes out there.
Cooper again from the outside. This one drops with just 0.9 seconds to go. So a very strong first quarter for the LA Sparks with only 8 active players. Taurasi is back, scored 5 in the first. Phoenix led by Griner's 9. We're back with the second quarter after this. Chris Paul and the Suns up 3-1 on the LA Clippers. A possible closeout game here in downtown Phoenix tomorrow night against LA. Meanwhile, the LA Sparks in town and doing an excellent job despite being extremely short-handed. Wheeler had 10 in the first quarter and 7 from Taya Cooper. 6 points for Nia Coffey. And Phoenix shooting 45% from the field, so not bad. But again, if LA can hang around and kind of put that question mark in the back of the minds of the Mercury, and you saw Diana Taurasi in that first quarter play 8 minutes, and she was so unselfish, looking for that extra kick pass.
Right.
And she said even if she's not 100% and said might have some tired legs, she can still make a solid impact here this afternoon. Zowie B goes down, trying to set the screen. And Kia Nurse will be busted for the foul. 26-24 Sparks here to begin the second quarter. They lost 4 of their last 6. And both teams coming in 6-7 on the season. Go back to last year, Andy, and the Sparks team went 15-7. They were the 3rd seed going into the playoffs, but lost in their first elimination game to Connecticut. It was a quick exit in the playoffs.
And Connecticut beat Chicago today, which is huge. Chicago had won 7 in a row.
Another foul on Kia Nurse, who came over to help on Zowie B.
Now, really, the Mercury are going to have to do a better job on the defensive end because the Sparks are shooting 58%, 57% from 3-point range, and really, at least it's a hard foul. But
yeah, that was Anigwe
right
who
now,
was belted.
right now the Mercury do not look good on the defensive end, but give credit to the Sparks. They're knocking their shots down. They're getting inside, getting the lay-ins. And we talked about this game coming in that the Mercury have to own the paint. And that doesn't mean just on the offensive end. That means on the defensive end and keeping your opponent out of the lane on drives and short jumpers and penetrations and kickouts.
1 of 2 at the line for Christine Anigwe, who played high school basketball here locally at Desert Vista. In and out for Skylar Diggins-Smith.
Taurasi made a nice screen and give Skylar plenty of time to get that shot off, but inside Anigwe misses an easy
catch though
pass.
off that difficult feed. Here comes Taurasi, cut off there. Inside, Kia Vaughn, and she is sent away.
Sykes.
Well, this LA defense is gritty and tough. There is nothing easy against the Sparks, even without the Anigwe sisters, without Tolliver. Cooper, Zowie B off her fingertips, back the other way. Skylar up ahead, Bree Turner couldn't finish. Kia Nurse, ultra aggressive, and she's going to the line for 2.
Yeah, good follow by Kia Nurse, and really a great defensive play in the sense of pushing the ball on a fast break opportunity for the Mercury, and Turner having Sykes right on her heels, missing that chippy, but also, again, Kia Nurse with the follow-up.
You know, it's interesting. We talked about Kia and her numbers in the wins versus losses. It's very similar with Bree Turner, too. Every time Bree Turner has scored in double figures, Phoenix has won the game. Now, some of that pressure is going to come off of both Nurse and Bree Turner for the offensive production now with the return of Diana Taurasi. But over the last 9 games, they certainly needed it.
I think this is a big part of Nurse's game, too. I mean, she's got to get to the free throw line. She's 24-35 coming into this game, and a lot of times she doesn't is because she's out there shooting the threes. But if she can get inside, get easy shots at the free throw line, it'll open up your outside shot.
Phoenix 5 of 7 free throw shooting here in the first half. Cooper with the blow-by right past Skylar. Well, she has some jets. 29-26. Sparks up by 3. Biggest lead has been 4 for LA. Phoenix's biggest lead 3. So it's been a tight one so far. And let's see, Diana Taurasi looks like that's going to be a continuation. Well, that would be a bucket and 1 for Taurasi, and now she is over 9,000 points in her WNBA career.
Well, it was just a matter of time. If you think of it, 17 years, this is her 17th season, and 14 out of the 17 years, she's played all the games. I mean, she's had injuries, obviously, in the past, and certainly this year missing 9 games, but, I mean, that's endurance.
And that was a nice continuation call. I think everybody felt that was going to be side out of bounds, and it's a 3-point play for Taurasi, who now has 8 points, goes over the 9,000 point mark, and she also only needs 31 more assists to reach 2,000 career assists, and only 4 players will have reached that plateau. Just an amazing career that continues. I'll let you rattle that off. Your research is always better than mine, but there's the bump. Well, it was very close to the gather, but I'd like to see more of that in both the WNBA and the NBA.
Well, they've changed the rules, so it makes it very confusing.
Oh, certainly in the NBA, that's for sure. Yeah, very few continuations, it seems. Kia Vaughn.
Such a pretty
hits
shot.
it with the right hook.
Love the little jump hook that Kia Vaughn has, and the opportunity when Griner's out of the game just opens things up in the middle for her.
What a tough shot to defend. She is such a critical veteran off the bench for Phoenix. Wheeler through the legs. Impressive dribbling display. Gets past Nurse, and will head to the line for 2.
Well, Wheeler just having the ability to handle the ball out of Rutgers. And again, went undrafted back in 2013 and went overseas to play. Got picked up by Atlanta. Went to New York. Was a free agent, went to Indiana, and that's when she was on the All-Star team and won MVP, and then came to LA. Again,
you know, it's interesting
Fisher
too. Yeah. I mean, an All-Star in 2019, yet her first 2 double-doubles in her career have happened this season. So she didn't even do that with the Fever. But yeah, what a season for her, too. You mentioned the All-Star MVP honor. And I know Derek Fisher is awfully glad to have her on this roster. And she is having herself a big afternoon with 11 points. Phoenix up by 1. Taurasi against 3 defenders finds Nurse. Still offline. Skylar from far away. Absolutely for Skylar Diggins-Smith. The big shot.
Is that an assist by Turner?
Sure. Has to be. Coffee. Back iron. There's Kia Nurse all alone for the rip. And Phoenix starting to show some more confidence. Taurasi looks very smooth out there until that pass was intended for Kia Vaughn. I think it was miscommunication as she tried to slide behind her defender. Taya Cooper working on Bree Turner and will make her way to the free throw line. So LA is starting to really press the issue offensively and get to the line.
Taya Cooper, interesting story is that when she left high school, one of the top players, but she went to Tennessee. Went to Tennessee for a year, transferred out, went over to South Carolina to play for Dawn Staley. Had an injury, had to sit out because of the transfer rule, but had an injury, and then she ended up transferring as a grad to Baylor her last year. So 3 different schools, and she said, you know, I've faced a lot of adversity and a lot of changes in my life, and with the 3 different schools, but had a terrific senior year at Baylor, averaging over 13 points and almost 5 assists a game and 2 steals.
And you mentioned Dawn Staley, who is the head coach of Team USA. And it's going to be interesting, too, with this WNBA All-Star game. Before the Olympic team heads to Tokyo, they will play the WNBA All-Stars, the Olympians will, in kind of a tune-up for Tokyo.
Yeah, yesterday was the last day for the voting of All-Stars, and so certainly a lot of fans and media and everybody, but I don't know how they're going to pick those 10, 12 players.
I know, top 36 players will be sent to the WNBA coaches, of course, minus the Olympians. Wheeler will crossover pullback. Zawi B has a good look at it. And the rebound to Bree Turner. This is a player who had 21 rebounds in a game last season, matching her number.
Now, Cunningham did a nice job blocking out Sykes, and there's the steal by LA, and Taurasi stopping the fast break. They felt that there was
a clear path to the basket. There was no defender back for Phoenix. So they're going to take a look at that.
Skylar Diggins not happy with the call, and she felt that her arms were ripped. But, you know, give credit to the Sparks. They did not stop moving. They pushed the ball and didn't hear a whistle, so they went.
You can see the fiery temperament of Diana Taurasi has not dimmed at all. And Sandy Brondello, our head coach, was just talking about how nice it's going to be to have another leader, another playmaker back on the floor. And it may take a few games to get those legs back, but looking pretty solid so far. Here is the first no call, and then the reach in by Taurasi. You can see up ahead there's no Phoenix defender, so that should be a clear path to the basket violation. Free throw and the ball out of bounds coming for LA. So the Sparks next up, they're going to host Vegas twice, Wednesday and Friday. Annie Phoenix will take on Minnesota, the Lynx, twice here in Phoenix, Wednesday and Saturday. The Lynx right now 7-7 in 5th place. And it was interesting, Diana Taurasi was talking about the Olympic team and what is she looking forward to. She said she's looking forward to playing with Nafisa Collier, who's on the Olympic team and also playing for Minnesota. And there you see Sylvia Fowles, who had just an epic game on Friday against Las Vegas. Chelsea Gray, Tina Charles, the veteran Sue Bird. Boy, this is an Olympic team that has won 6 consecutive gold medals. And as you look at that roster, Annie, is there any doubt that they're going to win 7 in a row?
Well, throughout the years, it's still, whether it's the last 10 years, or last 10 Olympics, I should say, that the United States has dominated, especially since the WNBA has started. And the fact that Taurasi and Bird are going for their 5th Olympics, as Teresa Edwards, the great 5-time Olympian, but Tamika Catchings and Lisa Leslie, both 4 Olympics. And certainly Bird at 40 years old, and Diana Taurasi at 39 will be the oldest Olympians. Catchings was 37, Teresa Edwards was 36.
So they're looking at the clear path to the basket, but Phoenix is already in the penalty situation. So with LA in the bonus, that meant 2 free throws for Wheeler, who now has 13. Cooper has 11. Both those Sparks starting guards in double figures, tied up at 34, and a reach in there on Wheeler, who is not happy with the call.
And Sparks continuing to shoot the ball well, 50%, but Mercury getting to the line here, and the Mercury trying to get a lead.
Well, it's like having your assistant coach returning. Diana Taurasi has been coaching throughout that timeout. She has been coaching during the course of the last 5 weeks on the sidelines with her teammates after suffering a fractured sternum. But no cakewalk for DT and Phoenix so far this afternoon against Derek Fisher's feisty Sparks team. And Taurasi said he's actually one of my favorite Lakers of all time, just because of how tough he was and how clutch he was. And Diana, of course, growing up in the Southern California area, grew up a big-time Lakers fan. You know, her favorite Laker, aside from Kobe Bryant, actually initially was Nick Van Exel. She's a huge Nick Van Exel fan. Bree Turner breaks in for 2. Set up nicely by Skyler.
Well, Taurasi did not even acknowledge the applause. She just wanted to play the game. Don't interrupt. I'm focused on playing, and but what a great achievement to get 9,000 points.
Baseline drive, Sykes foul from behind by Taurasi. And we were talking about Phoenix already being in the penalty situation with over 6 minutes to go in this second quarter. More free throws coming from the Sparks as Turner finishes it. And by the way, the other interesting number so far here in the first half, Bree Turner's rebounding. She's already in double figures with 10.
Well, she does it so quietly, too. And her season high is 14. We know her career high is 21.
Sykes misses the first one.
And that was a big discrepancy in the last game as far as free throws, that the Phoenix Mercury were able to get to the line a lot more than the Sparks did.
2 misses by Brittany Sykes, who has tortured the Phoenix Mercury in her career. As a rookie, she had her career high 33 against Phoenix. In a different game, she had a 22-point quarter here in Phoenix with the Atlanta Dream 2 years ago. That tied a WNBA record, a 22-point quarter. Guess who it tied? I know you know this because your research is better than mine. Diana Taurasi, the only other player with a 22-point quarter. So Phoenix is well aware of the skills of Brittany Sykes, though she did just miss 2 free throws.
And Taurasi also holds the record for most three-pointers.
Another one on Erica Wheeler. A couple of calls she has not been happy with. Carly Samuelson in her 9 minutes picked up 3 fouls. Coffey has 2, and now 2 for Wheeler. For Phoenix, Kia Nurse has picked up 3, and Taurasi playing with 2 right now. So both teams in the bonus rest of the way. A couple free throws coming for Diana Taurasi, went over the 9,000 point mark, a 5-time Olympian.
You know, Diana Taurasi talked about when she first got hurt, she got hit in the chest. It was a Connecticut game, and it hurt, but she said she was able to breathe and so forth and get up and down, and she didn't realize it till, you know, once they got back home, and it hurt more when she got hit there again.
Hit there again against Connecticut here in Phoenix, interestingly enough. You're right, has some trouble breathing, and that's when she said, yeah, we might want to take a look at this. Phoenix dropping back into that zone. Zowie B splits the zone. Couldn't finish. Pump fake, and there's the finish by Brittany Sykes.
And Taurasi's got to block Sykes out. I mean, you just stood there and watched. Sykes just snuck in there and got the boards.
Boy, she can elevate as well. She blocked a Brittany Griner shot last season.
Not a good pass. Mercury making their own way as far as turnovers, but give credit to the LA Sparks as far as putting the pressure on them.
Good defense by Bree Turner to slow down Cooper on that fast break. Wheeler pulls up from the free throw line and winds up in the lap of Taurasi. Diana has played 14 minutes so far and leads Phoenix in scoring with 10. 5 of those coming from the free throw line. Spinning and unable to put it in is Brittany Griner, but a couple of free throws coming for BG.
Now, right now, Griner's been getting one-on-one situations, and a really nice pass by Taurasi inside, and all Griner had to do was just kind of a little right-hand jump hook. She was right there and then did a couple of spins, but does a great job getting the foul to be committed.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow start to the season for Griner after another championship in Russia. In the first 4 games of the WNBA season, she averaged only 13 points, but Annie, over the last 9, it's 22 points per game for Brittany, who currently is averaging 20 for the season. That is 5th best in the WNBA. She's 2nd in rebounding, 1st in blocks, and 4th in field goal percentage.
Boy, it's the fastest she's had in the first 13 games of her career. And she's got 49 double-doubles.
A franchise record, of course, 6-time All-Star. 2 seasons in the WNBA where they did not have an All-Star game, including last year. I mentioned this season they will have the All-Star game, but she is an Olympian and will be tuning up for the Olympics against the WNBA All-Stars. Anigwe shoots over Griner, just comes off the rim. Anigwe is only averaging 3 points, but with all the injuries, you can see that many of these Sparks players who normally don't produce points are looking to score. Turner couldn't put it in, and here comes Cooper. Back defensively is Skylar Diggins-Smith. Now Cooper pulls it back, 3.5 to go until halftime. Phoenix with their biggest lead up by 4. Wheeler from deep. Tipped out of there by Griner. Skylar was scrapping as well for the defensive rebound. Sykes covering Skylar Diggins-Smith. Another errant pass, but Phoenix still has it into the corner. A wide open Kia Nurse still can't connect. That shooting eye just has not been there for Kia so far this season. Shooting 34% from the field so far, and Derek Fisher is going to call a timeout. Again, with not as many players coming in off the bench, his troops need a break. They are down by 4. Back here from downtown Phoenix, tickets on sale now to catch the Phoenix Mercury take on the Lynx June 30th, July 3rd for Hoop and Heroes Night, and the Seattle Storm on July 9th with the arena returning to full capacity. Great lower level seats are available. Grab your tickets for these exciting matchups at phoenixmercury.com/single game. Speaking of the Seattle Storm, they lost this afternoon in Las Vegas, 95-92, despite 35 from Breanna Stewart. Stewart with 35. Also earlier today, Connecticut drops Chicago 74-58. So taking a look at the standings, the Storm still number 1 at 12-4, followed by the Aces. They're now 11-4. But man, Annie, just look at this, from 5 to 10 in the standings. 6 teams separated by a half game.
Now, this year hasn't changed at all. Every year in the WNBA, it comes down to the last day. You're going to see the league just jumbled up. And it's an important game, certainly for both these teams, but for the Mercury, they can move up maybe as much as 8. And but right now they're in 10th, and the Sparks are in 11th.
Pull up Jay, Sykes straight away, got it. Tough shot by Brittany Sykes.
And Sykes, when she was at Syracuse, went to the Final Four and had a chance to come into the WNBA. She had an injury, but she said, I'm staying. I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to get better. And boy, she has just, her game is solid.
Phoenix has not been able to pull away from the Sparks squad. Running left-hander by Skylar. Rebounded by Zowie B. It's been 8 days since the Mercury have last played a game. Sandy Brondello said it gave them some time to, quote, tidy up some of the details. Did give the players some rest, but also put in some diligent work in the lab. Fade away on the spin by Sykes, rebounded by Sophie Cunningham. Sykes is not shy, and she is a potent scorer when she gets going.
Now, she was drafted by Atlanta, sat a lot, and then came to LA as a free agent.
Zowie B trying to poke it away from Kia Vaughn. Finds an open Sophie Cunningham. Corner pocket 3, wouldn't drop.
Yeah, she had hit 3 of those in their second meeting.
Phoenix now 4 of 12 from far away. LA 4 of 11 3-point shooting. Just a 2-point game. And nobody followed Sykes to the hoop. That was miscommunication and a breakdown defensively on the Mercury side. Tied up at 40. Sykes has 6 points off the bench, and now Sandy Brondello obviously not happy with that last defensive possession by her team and calling a timeout with a $1:21 to go here in the second quarter.
Yeah, 16 points in the paint for the Sparks and 7 points off the bench. Sykes has 6 of them.
Yeah, Sandy knew going into this game too that this was going to be an aggressive and athletic Sparks team. We'll go back to those standings. And it's just a Storm, Aces, Sun, and Sky, the top 4, and then you go down the list with New York and Minnesota. Dallas is at 500.
So whoever gets a win today would go 7-7. So Lynx are at 6.
You can move up 4 spots.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my goodness.
And Marianne Stanley just having a tough time in Indiana. Only the 1 win, but you know that win today by the Las Vegas Aces, that was the rubber match game, and they had split up in Seattle. And those games are so competitive.
Mercury and Sparks split the first 2 matchups in LA last week. Sparks winning the first game by 5, led by Erica Wheeler, and then Phoenix comes back to win the second one by 14, ending a 4-game skid. And now Diana Taurasi coming back, hoping to get on a roll before the All-Star break, the Olympic break. And after this, as we mentioned, a couple of games with Minnesota here in downtown Phoenix. Grab your tickets and come watch the greatest of all time, Diana Taurasi, along with Skylar and Brittany Griner. All 3 Olympians will be heading to Tokyo. Minute 21 to go until halftime. Phoenix has not been able to break through yet. Touch pass, Taurasi inside, and 1 for Griner. Perfect pass from Taurasi.
Well, a great out-of-bounds play, and Anigua at 6'4" just really could not stop and cannot stop Griner when she goes to the basket like this and just goes straight up and creates a contact, gives herself a good position to be able to make the shot. 41% by the Mercury they are shooting. Taurasi's got 10 points, Griner's got 14.
Back to a 3-point lead for Phoenix.
And it's really an even game. Both teams are shooting the ball well. Both teams are getting inside to the free throw line.
Ooh, and a traveling violation there on Sykes.
That's only the 4th turnover for the Sparks.
Phoenix with 6 turnovers, leading to 9 LA points. Well, you can see that Sykes has been uber aggressive offensively here in the second quarter. LA still led by Erica Wheeler's 13 and 11 from Taya Cooper. Minute to go here in the second quarter. Whoever wins this game reaches that 500 mark at 7-7. Taurasi trying to fend off Sykes, who was glued onto the shoulder of Taurasi, and she's going to make her way to the line, where already Diana is 5 for 5.
And Taurasi, just the savvy veteran, setting up the defense off that screen.
Yeah, I went back to last year when you and I were in the trailer doing the games from the Wubble. The teams were in Orlando. We were parked outside Phoenix Suns Arena in a little minivan.
That's right.
Some great memories. But at that time, Annie, we were talking about Diana Taurasi as an MVP candidate last year. That was just last season. She had that one stretch, a 5-game stretch, when she was averaging 26 points per game. I mean, it was unheard of that she would even be in the conversation at that age.
Yeah, 38 years old, and Asia Wilson was the MVP from Vegas. But, yeah, I mean, the thing is, Taurasi is always in the conversation in anything that you talk about. I mean, she just understands the game, that has been around so long, and she knows how to score.
Saved by Taurasi. And she started her season with a game winner on the road in Minnesota at the buzzer. Skylar trying to drive baseline. Now it's Sophie from the other corner. Head-on collision. Down went Cunningham. And another foul on LA, and a smile on the face of Sophie. She enjoys contact.
Oh, yeah.
She's a brawler out there.
Well, the one thing, too, with LA, they're playing solid defense, because for the Mercury, you've got a 6'9" center setting a pick. Why wouldn't you just stand behind them and shoot over them?
So there's no foul call, just out of bounds off of LA, and Griner comes back for Phoenix.
Griner just showing her ability and her versatility as far as facing the basket, and a little 12-footer right there.
Now some separation by Phoenix in the latter stages of the first half. BG has 16. Zowie B has the range and the 3.
Yeah, she had plenty of time to set up. The Sparks have really had great opportunity to get good looks at the basket.
Wheeler from midcourt to end the first half off the Taurasi turnover. And we are done with the first 2 quarters of play here from Phoenix. Griner with 16. Taurasi returning with 12 in the first half. 7 of 7 from the line. Stick around, our halftime report coming up next here on Bally Sports Plus.
See that from the Mercury as far as playing, and certainly you were not only a coach but a cheerleader on the bench with the players. But what did you see that this is a team, even without you on the floor, that they needed to work on and improve?
I think sometimes when you're, when you're in a spot where things aren't going your way, whether it's shots, whether it's calls, whether, it's the rhythm of the game, it always comes down to the details of the game, to the things that are very boring for players. And those are the things that get you back on track, whether it's little things like getting open, setting a good screen, a simple box out, denying a pass to get your offense going in a different way. And I think those things, when you have consecutive games, and like I said, when things aren't rolling, that's when those things kind of get overlooked. So I think this week we made a point of emphasis to just getting back to the very simple details that'll help us, be organized and play a little bit better in stretches.
Diana keeping extremely active even when she wasn't in uniform those 5 weeks, and giving the referees an earful. Remember, of course, she felt the need back here with the Hall of Famer Ann Myers-Drysdale. Halftime between the Mercury and the Sparks, 47-43 Phoenix. Their biggest advantage was 7, but man, they have run into a feisty Fisher squad. Derek Fisher and the LA Sparks. Taurasi has 12, Griner 16, and Erica Wheeler leading the way for LA with 13.
Yeah, and 7 points on the free throw line for Diana Taurasi. As you said, she's got 2,000 points now, but she's certainly mixing it up, getting to the free throw line, getting to the basket, looking for her outside shot, and trying to get others involved. And certainly Brittany Griner has gotten involved, especially when she's gotten that deep. She's getting easy looks at the basket. But here's a really nice spin move and splitting the defense, and certainly with her getting her 16 points, and she also has gotten to the free throw line, which I think is a big plus in her game. And then you had Erica Wheeler, who's shooting under 40%. She is just doing it everywhere and getting everybody involved and playing defense. And you talked about this team as far as running it out. They've got such good athletes. Sykes coming up with the big steal, and the LA Sparks are off and running. And certainly Erica Wheeler, right now, she's been the leader of this team. And it's really been fun to see, even though with Nneka and Shanae Agumake hurt, that Erica Wheeler has really stepped into that leadership role. And just an 8-player rotation for Derek Fisher. Bench points in favor, though, of LA, thanks to Brittany Sykes. Phoenix only 2 points off the bench, and that was from Kia Vaughn. And you pointed out the second chance points in the first half as well. Yeah, I mean, 13 obviously for the Mercury, and then they're out rebounding the LA Sparks. The Sparks shooting the ball well, shooting 47%, as you see, but it's really an even game, and it's just on the timing on which shots, and certainly the Sparks had the last shot at halftime, and they also hit a 3-point shot, so they've made 5 threes in that first half. So it'll be interesting to see who controls the tempo in this game and who takes care of the basketball.
Adjustments, such a big word, especially come playoff time, but even here moving into the second half, what are your keys or adjustments for both teams?
Well, I think for the Mercury, they've got to continue to go inside to Brittany Griner. I mean, the Sparks have really had a tough time stopping her. She's got 16 points and 3 rebounds. I mean, the 11 rebounds by Turner, but it takes a lot of pressure off of Griner having to get the rebounds and getting back on defense. And then for the Sparks, just keep attacking. They've done such a good job getting the lead when they've had it and staying in this game by just being overly aggressive.
Well, Sandy Brondello was talking about the minutes for Diana Taurasi in this one, thinking that maybe she would play somewhere around 30. She played 15 in the first half. She is right on pace for 30.
Well, if it's up to Diana, I think it's going to, and this game is close, she's going to want more.
She always wants more. And it starts with a out-of-bounds violation against LA. And Phoenix leading by 4 as we begin the third quarter. Whichever team wins this one evens up their record at 7-7.
And certainly in that first half, too, Tommy, we talked about fatigue, if that was going to be a factor in this game.
Poked away, stolen by Wheeler, but did she step out of bounds? I believe she did.
Well, great persistence. And a great story. We said that she had not been drafted, and, she was pretty disgruntled. And coming from Rutgers, between her junior and senior year, she had lost her mother of cancer. Her mother was only 44 and just so close to her. She grew up in Liberty City and grew up in a 3-bedroom house and 13 people in the house. And, it was tough. But, she almost quit school, but Vivian Stringer kept her there and kept her strong. And even when she didn't get drafted, you know, her agent happened to run into Michael Cooper at an airport, who was then the coach of the Atlanta Dream, and said, well, bring her in for a tryout. And then the rest is history. You just don't quit. You got to be persistent.
Yep. There she is, blocked from behind by Brittany, goes out of bounds, and LA will have it. But played for Atlanta, as you mentioned, with Michael Cooper, New York, 4 years with Indiana, and blindsided by BG.
Yeah, she does a nice crossover by Wheeler, and then just didn't realize that Griner was behind her for that block shot.
Yeah, another one of the players, too, Erica Wheeler, who sat out last season, opted out of the bubble, along with Christy Tolliver, who is not in action this afternoon for LA. A head injury and stitches in their last game against the Mystics. Rolls in for Wheeler. So the Sparks coming off an 89-82 win over the Mystics Thursday in LA. That was the game that Taya Cooper erupted for 26, her career high. They also got tremendous bench production off the rim for Brittany Griner. 53 points off the bench for the Sparks in that game, with Cooper, Sykes, and Samuelson combining for those 53 points.
What you're seeing from Derek Fisher as far as the confidence, and that each player feels that they can score and they can play great defense. I mean, Derek Fisher, as you said, 5-time NBA champion and was a coach in New York for the Knicks. And I mean, this is a Sparks team. They don't give up. Diana Taurasi goes down and gets up very, very slowly.
Wheeler is all over the place. Came up with the steal there, has 17 points. Samuelson couldn't connect. We were talking during the break at halftime that, you know, it's human nature for Phoenix to look at all the injuries on this LA team and say, all right, we won the last time out by 14. This is going to be an easy one this afternoon in Phoenix. Anything but. LA has really come to play off the glass for Griner, and first points of the second half for Phoenix.
Well, BG with those big steps, long legs, didn't even put the ball down on the floor.
And Sandy Brondello talking about trying to tidy things up during the 8-day break, but still seeing some sloppy passing from Phoenix. Tough shot, Coffey missed everything. Great defense there by Kia Nurse. Taurasi up ahead. Turner finishing. A fantastic lead pass by Diana Taurasi.
And that's what Turner did at Notre Dame, and that's what she did her rookie year. Run the floor. She's like a deer out there.
Yeah, Taurasi reminds me so much of Jason Kidd, especially late in his career, looking up the floor, those long outlet passes to streaking teammates.
What a great matchup right there. Diana Taurasi keeping Wheeler out of the lane, couldn't drive, pulls up for the jumper, and Taurasi did her job.
Skyler now kicks it out to Kia Nurse. Wheeler is 7 of 14 shooting so far for LA, leading them with 17 points. High screen, and ramming into that was Carly Samuelson.
Now Taurasi's so good, seeing the floor, and with that great pass. That reminds me of Kevin Love.
That's true, yeah. It just was so perfect, in stride. And Turner putting it home. 6 points, 12 rebounds for Bree Turner. 11 of those coming in the first half. 4-point Phoenix lead. Wheeler with all sorts of confidence, and the green light with the Agumekes out, Tolliver out.
Oh,
Cooper.
Cooper with just clearing the space.
Yeah, just a fantastic talent. She can run the point, she can play off the ball. And now another near turnover by Taurasi.
Oh, she had the layup. Nurse had the layup.
Taurasi bouncing off of Samuelson and puts it in off the window.
Samuelson kind of stopped and didn't want to pick up the foul, and Taurasi kept going. But as soon as the Mercury scored, the Sparks are coming down fast.
Taurasi with 14 points. She went over the 9,000 point mark in her career in the first half.
Yeah, she's 1 of 4 from 3-point range.
Griner one-on-one against Zowie B. Spins to her left.
That's a tough pass.
It was. Nice catch there by Turner. Kicks it out now to Nurse. Nurse behind the line. Nope, they're going to say a 2-point shot for Kia Nurse. And then going for the steal in the backcourt. Phoenix almost came away with it.
But that's the shot I like for Kia Nurse. She has struggled with her 3-point shot. Why not take 1-2 dribbles in and make the easy shot?
I think right now she'll take any make she can get. 6-point lead for Phoenix. Don't look the other way. Stand up to bullying. One small action can put a stop to it. Learn more at muststopbullying.org. Back here with the Hall of Famer Ann Myers-Drysdale. Phoenix on top 55-49 in the third quarter. And you take a look at some of the numbers, certainly free throw shooting right now for Phoenix. They are a +7 at the line in terms of makes. They're 13 of 15, while LA has only made 6. And then rebounding wise, you would expect this too with BG and Bree Turner on the floor against a decimated Sparks lineup. It's 27-19 rebounding advantage for Phoenix.
Yeah, Zowie B, Cooper, and Anigwe each have 4 for the Sparks.
So we were talking about the Sparks, and I want to spark up that conversation about the Olympians. No Nneka Ogwumike. That's been a hot topic of conversation. First time that an MVP in the WNBA has not been named to the Olympic team. What are your thoughts?
Well, I know Chene, she wrote a great series about it. And, yeah, I think she got robbed. I think she got robbed in 2016, and she was 24 years old, and being an MVP and winning a championship. Nneka Ogwumike has earned her right to be on that Olympic team. They say that it was her injury when people have commented about Diana Taurasi's injury. So, you know, the Olympics are not for another month, so Nneka Ogwumike is coming along. I know that Katie Smith and both Shamika Holzclaw did not play a game in the Olympics, that she had a stress fracture, but she was on the team, and you know, Katie Smith had hurt her foot. I think she played 3 games though, but you know, I just, Nneka Ogwumike is so much, not just only the president of the WNBA Players Association, and what she did this last summer, and it just, to me, it was also a
big-time hit there. Shea Petty went down, drilled by Wheeler. And also, Annie, I want to throw in, too, she's been extremely loyal to USA Basketball, training with them and showing her allegiance to that squad.
There you see that Nia Coffey got off balance, and all of a sudden Wheeler comes over and can't cut her off quick enough and sends her out of bounds. But, you know, exactly. I mean, she's been MVP. She's been leading scorer. She has sacrificed going to USA Basketball. And I'm sad. I'm sad and disappointed.
You and many others. 58-49, Phoenix with their biggest lead up by 9. Megan Walker is out there, has to hoist it up with the shot clock ready to blow up, and rebounded by Nia Coffey. Coffey's a nice pickup for this team, averaging 9 points so far on the season, a season high 17 against Chicago. Samuelson on the curl. Anigwe, ball fake, drop step. Couldn't put it in against Griner. She'll try again, sent away. Brittany would have none of that. And on the run out, it's Turner again, but there defensively was Coffey.
Is that dribble that slowed things up for her, and Coffey was able to defend it. Don't always have to put the ball on the floor, and Petty goes down.
Boy, she's taken a couple of shots. Anigwe is called for the foul, and Petty is in some pain. We know that Anigwe can dish it out. Certainly a very physical player. She was a tremendous rebounder at Cal, led the nation in rebounding, and has that reputation of playing with extreme force.
Well, she had a 30-30 game in college against Washington. But here you see Petty from behind, and that right arm goes back. I was talking to Penny Taylor, and I said, the fouls that they're calling on players today, when the Mercury played Indiana in the championship games, and Penny Taylor went in for a layup, no, she was defending. Brown January went in for a layup and swung her arm back and nailed Penny in the mouth. Her teeth went back, and it was just, I mean, it was such a, I couldn't believe that the official said that that was a basketball play, and today it would not have been.
That's actually one of my top memories in following the Mercury, either as a broadcaster or in that situation as a fan. I was sitting front row actually with Eddie Johnson when they won that title. Skylar Diggins-Smith sprinting in for a pair. That was just fantastic, and I remember just sitting there talking to Eddie during the game about Penny Taylor, just all the little things that she does on the floor, the absolute glue to that championship team. Offensive rebound, Anigwe. It was just a common foul on Anigwe, which sent Petty to the floor.
Oh, a nice block by Turner.
Skylar trying to swing through the lane, ripped out of there by Sykes. We mentioned she's third in the league in steals. She is a pest and a physical, gifted defensive player. Pull up, front iron, and the rebound is Shea Petty.
Well, and the thing is, she said, too, that I don't want to just be known for a defensive player, because when she was at Syracuse, she could score, she could shoot.
Absolutely.
And,
we talked about her career-high 33 as a rookie against Phoenix.
She goes, I am a two-way player.
That's an offensive foul on Megan Walker, shoving off Erica Wheeler.
Well, the one thing I like about Megan Walker, though, she's being aggressive. And I think that this Mercury team needs a player like Walker that can put the ball on the floor and can attack like that. And, you know, you get in the lane, you can either go all the way, and you got to mix it up. And I think Walker can do that. But, you know, sometimes you're going to get called for offensive fouls.
You know, we talked about the success of the Mercury when Kia Nurse scores about 12 points per game, when Bree Turner is in double figures. How about Megan Walker? She scored double figures 4 times this season, and the Mercury won all 4. Had 10 points in that last meeting in LA. A Phoenix victory, flipped off the glass and in by Taya Cooper.
You know, Walker, another player at Rutgers, and, you know, her numbers have been very, very good. And she's kind of been put in a situation, Taurasi with the knockdown 3. But, you know, last year she was COVID protocol and didn't get a chance to play her rookie year, and a lot of high expectations. I mean, she's such a versatile player. And when she got thrown into that starting lineup with Diana Taurasi, I think everything, you know, hadn't come to her yet.
Taurasi after that 3, that was the biggest Phoenix lead. They were up by 12. Zowie B comes back with the bucket, and Taurasi now 17 points for Phoenix in her return after missing the last 9 games with the fractured sternum. She's 4 of 8 from the field, a couple of threes, and a perfect 7 of 7 from the line, and right in the heart.
Well, and there's the screen. I mean, Taurasi using 6'9". They can't get through it. They're not getting under it. They're not going over the top. And there's going to be an offensive foul as far as setting the screen. But, you know, Taurasi uses the screen so well because the person playing defense on Brittany Griner, they're sagging off. And so Taurasi has plenty of room to take a shot.
Phoenix at 47% shooting from the field. LA just 41%, down double digits inside of 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Wheeler has been fantastic, working on her 17 points, in and out. Tipped out of there by Kia Vaughn, and Brittany hands it off to Diana Taurasi. So good to see those two back on the floor together. Skylar's on the bench right now. Griner facing pressure. Pass almost picked off again. Kia Vaughn, boy, those feet were moving. Gets it back from Taurasi, puts it up, and rolls off. Vaughn still with the only 2 bench points for Phoenix. Cooper. Excellent defense by D. Boy, her footwork looks really good after the 5-week layoff. Wheeler drives to the left side and puts it in with the right hand over Kia Nurse.
Yeah, tough shot getting in the lane.
That's a tough shot, too. You're driving left, you go to that right hand, right in the face of your defender, and still able to hit it home.
Yeah, the Sparks are staying with the Mercury as far as getting inside.
Contested 3. Down it goes for Diana Taurasi. I don't even know how she saw the hoop.
What a great shot. Just floating to the left, already squared up.
Third 3-point hit. Cooper bounces off. Rebound to Kia Nurse. When she's not scoring, she can rebound, she can pass. And a blocking call. Shea Petty ramming into Taya Cooper. Boy, Petty, that is now her 3rd collision. She's gone down hard, took a shot to the neck from Anigwe. She will be full of bruises tomorrow morning.
Now there's the screen, and Anigwe trying to get a hand up on her. And as you said, Griner and Taurasi, that high pick and roll, and just really feeling each other and getting a chance to play together again.
Top of the key, Kia had all day. Picked up there by Sykes, goes cross court to Cooper. Inside of 30 seconds to go in the third quarter. It's been a good one for Phoenix. They led by 4 at halftime, currently up 11. Nurse defending Wheeler. Tipped out of there by Kia Vaughn. So Phoenix playing with a couple of bigs out there with the size of Vaughn and Brittany Griner.
Well, dominating the boards has been big because it's not.
Down it goes. Taurasi from far away.
Her season high.
And now a traveling violation, .3 on the clock for LA.
Well, all Derek Fisher can do is sit there with his hand on his face, and Diana Taurasi, boy, she has just come alive.
3 threes in the last minute or so of the third quarter. Diana Taurasi burning up in downtown Phoenix. She has 23 in her return. Phoenix up 14, heading to the fourth. In celebration of Pride Month, presented by Deloitte, the WNBA will collaborate with GLSEN and Fanatics on an exclusive line of Pride apparel, including Fanatics branded WNBA t-shirts. All WNBA proceeds benefit GLSEN, and fans can purchase the shirts at WNBAstore.com. Back here with the Hall of Famer Ann Myers-Drysdale, a very good third quarter for Diana Taurasi, particularly those last couple of minutes. And Phoenix outscored LA by 10 in the third.
Boy, Diana Taurasi got the fans. She wanted to show for the the X-fans.
Yeah, you're
The
thinking
X-Factor.
X-rays because of the sternum. She has a number of X-rays on the sternum, which appears to be healed.
Well, the X Factor certainly has gotten into the game, and Diana Taurasi has been a huge part of it.
Kia Vaughn saved a turnover there. How many times does a Phoenix pass appear to be a turnover, and yet one of the teammates is able to somehow secure the pass? They got away with that one.
Well, the third quarter, the Mercury did a pretty good job slowing things down against the Sparks.
Keep an eye on Brittany Sykes. She can erupt at any time. Diana tips the rebound to herself over Anigwe. Actually, that was Nia Coffey who was in there going after the rebound for LA. Skylar, touch pass, Kia Vaughn, and she's going to the line for two. Upset at herself, wanting to finish that. Trying to work on her only hoop, the only bench points for Phoenix. Meanwhile, Sykes with 6, Anigwe 1. So 7 bench points for LA. Neither team really getting much support off of the pine. Kia Vaughn will step up to the stripe. Just 1 of 4 from the free throw line this season. Got the first one. Born and raised in the Bronx with 7 brothers. How about that? That's where some of that toughness comes from. 34-year-old Kia Vaughn. Re-signed as a free agent during the offseason. Good to go on both tosses.
In 2011, she was the most improved player when she was playing in New York.
Yeah, it's interesting, too. Her best game of the season was her first game. She missed the first 4 games because she was playing overseas and was in COVID protocol. And then her first game of the season against Vegas, she had 8 points, 6 rebounds. It was a sterling performance. 16-point lead for Phoenix. That's their biggest. Oh, and Taurasi trying to push off Sykes. Caught her in the face, and now a loose ball foul, but Sykes is all over Diana Taurasi defensively, and she's just wondering when she's going to get a call. The officials this afternoon, Tierra Cruz, Randy Richardson, and Robert Hussey.
Vaughn was trying to get the ball to the Sparks, and Zoe B got a hand on it, and Zoe B looked like she just kind of fell down. We saw a replay on the big screen.
You're talking about the X Factor, too. This is the first game. No limitations on crowd size.
And it shows. It's a great crowd today.
Really good on a Sunday afternoon. Nia Coffey, the southpaw, grabs her own miss. LA now 5 of 15 3-point shooting. Wheeler was the spark early. Zoe B, step back, straightaway 15-footer, nails it. That's a talented player, averaging 11 points this season for LA. He's a tremendous shooter and obviously battles inside as well. Kia Vaughn going
nice
to work
move
on Zoe B, finds Bree Turner. A phenomenal pass from the veteran Kia Vaughn to Bree.
Yeah, Kia Vaughn, just a ball fake. That is all it is. And I think that the Mercury coming into this break for them, they got caught not doing ball fakes first part of the season.
Cooper defended there by Turner. Phoenix looks like they're in a 2-3 zone. Deep shot by Sykes, back iron. Speaking of Bree Turner, she has 14 rebounds so far in this game. 11 of those came in the first half. And we talked about her career high being 21. Vaughn back to Skylar. Here comes Cooper. She's been trying to push the pace. finds Zowie B, tied up by Taurasi. And a heads-up play by D. Before Amanda Zowie B could bring that ball up for the shot attempt, D ties her up, and they'll jump it off at the free throw line.
Yeah, there's the move by Vaughn, avoiding the charge also. And good hands by Turner to hold on to it.
And I don't think we talk enough about that, about Bree Turner's hands. She is so good at taking in those feeds. Many times Skylar, and even when she's out there with Brittany Griner, she has excellent chemistry with Brittany Griner when Brittany has it high post and she's cutting along the baseline. One-handed outlet pass, Taurasi up ahead to Kia Nurse. After they won the tip, Kia trying to force it in and earns a ticket to the line. Wheeler takes a shot to the face. That is number 4 on Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler did a nice job stopping the one-on-one fast break for Nurse. Nurse could not shake her. And a lot of contact right there. Nurse getting to the free throw line.
And you saw that friendly exchange between Kia Nurse and Diana Taurasi, of course, both having played at Connecticut. Megan Walker, another player on the team, who played for the Huskies. First shot is good from the line for Kia Nurse, who now has 9 points. Griner back on the floor, 20 points, 6 rebounds for BG. And Sandy's been going with that size too, playing Griner along with Kia Vaughn. And we're gonna get a timeout called by Derek Fisher and LA. 18-point Phoenix lead. Taurasi jerseys are out here this afternoon, and Diana has not disappointed, leading Phoenix in scoring with her 23 points. She downloaded 3 threes late in the third quarter and blew this thing open. 20 points for Griner, 10 for Skylar Diggins-Smith, and 10 for Kia Nurse.
Now, Sandy Brondello talked about coming into this game after having that week of practice and just fixing the little things, and certainly this is the LA Sparks are really a tough team to work on that stuff, because with Minnesota coming in for 2 games, and Minnesota's been playing well with Sylvia Fowles.
Ball fake and bucket by Brittany Sykes. So the lead was 18, and you wonder how many more minutes for these starters, especially Diana Taurasi, and one inside for Skylar. Another pinpoint pass.
Well, it's almost a high-low play, and you get the ball at the high post to via Kia Vaughn, and then the back door by Diggins-Smith, and certainly a play that they've been working on, and you can see because of the reaction of the 2 of them clapping hands.
A couple of just beauties by Kia Vaughn, first to Bree Turner and then to Skylar, and 3-point play. The lead now is up to 19 for Phoenix.
Yeah, 4 players in double figures for the Mercury.
Wheeler on the move and puts it in.
So explosive going to the basket. Sykes trying to come up with a steal.
21 now for Erica Wheeler. No Tolliver, no Agumacays. Griner whips it into the corner. Taurasi unselfishly to Kia Nurse. Vaughn from 17 feet straight away.
That's the most passes we've seen in their half-court game.
That's a good time to start milking that clock. And an offensive foul. Taurasi is irate.
Well, Taurasi does a great job running Wheeler into Brittany Griner. And that's what I love, that she does not leave space when she comes through that screen. And I don't know how that is a foul on. They call that on Griner or
They called
Taurasi?
it on Griner. So that's a second personal foul on BG.
Well, that's one thing, too, that BG has really worked on, is staying out of foul trouble.
Sealing inside was Coffey. Ball fake, Garantes is out there, and she sticks the baseline jumper. Aurela Garantes, the 23-year-old out of Rutgers. Second-round pick, 22nd overall. Down went Taurasi. Contact with Sykes. That is number 3 on Brittany Sykes. Yeah, that's something with a Derek Fisher team. Even if they fall behind by 18, 19 points, they won't stop fighting. Griner against Zowie B, and a traveling violation on BG. Trying to work her way baseline against Amanda Zawibi, and Phoenix turns it over.
Well, she's got that big step, which is great, but when she's on that side, she needs to be higher up the lane so she doesn't get caught underneath the backboard.
Lead is 15. If they can push that thing to 18, 19, 20 points, you get Lana Smith coming in off the bench. Missing everything was Garantes. Phoenix will have it, but nice to see some minutes for Smith. Shea Petty's only played 5 minutes, though he's taken a couple of shots. And Sophie Cunningham's only played 10.
And the bench is still going to be important for Sandy Brondello, who is the Olympic coach for the Opals.
Taurasi, contact, knocks down Sykes, couldn't hit the three. Phoenix with the reset on the shot clock, and then swinging through is Skylar, and it'll be a foul on LA.
What a smart play by Skylar Diggins-Smith, as far as, she saw that the defense had their hands out, and she just went right underneath with that swing. And
Phoenix is in the bonus. That's 5 team fouls on LA. So that was not a shooting foul. She swung through, but because Los Angeles has 5 fouls here in the quarter, in and out on the first toss by Skylar.
that was not a swing up for a shot.
Well, many times it's not a shot attempt if you don't go into the shooting action. As we talked about the difference between the NBA and WNBA.
I don't know. It looked like a shot, taking a shot to me. With all I've seen these past games being played.
Well, again, it very well could be, but because they were in the bonus, there were 2 free throws coming anyways. The block by Skylar. And she's jumping up and down in dismay.
Well, I know
at that whistle.
I know she's not happy, but give the Mercury credit in the second half. They have denied the Sparks really getting in the lane and being successful, and she looks like she comes up with all ball. But
you have to reward that.
You're going to see the Sparks go to the free throw line, which they've been very quiet. This is their first free throws in the second half.
And Skylar is sneaky defensively too. 5'9", but man, you'll check out the box score after the game, and she'll give you 1 or 2 blocks almost every night. She just times things so well.
She takes great pride in her defense. She's very intense and very aggressive, and Sandy Brondello likes to put her on the best offensive player. So
yeah, she talked about the versatility of her defensively, how much effort she puts into it. Now I think away from the play, it was Zowie B tangled up with Griner, and more free throws coming for Phoenix.
Zowie B with 10 points and 4 rebounds, and she has struggled in this game. I mean, she is their only big right now.
Going back to Skylar too, I think she's even said this. It's on her bucket list, and it was on her bucket list to make the Olympic team. I mean, obviously BG's been there before. Diana, another Olympics, but meant so much for Skylar to be added to that team.
A lot of good guards, and not only does Phoenix have 3 players going, but also Seattle has 3, and Brianna Stewart, Sue Bird, and Jewel Lloyd. And Jewel Lloyd has been wanting to make an Olympic team also. I think that we've got some great guards going on, and I know that over the course of the Olympics past years that there has been talk about there really wasn't the solidification of handing off to guards, and so they kind of kept Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi around. But you had Lindsay Whalen and Cappy Pondexter and Carol Lawson and Simone Augustus. I mean, so they've had some unbelievably talented guards, and so now they're going to have some young ones that will carry on the torch.
Great hustle at the other end by Kia Nurse to give Phoenix possession, and then a moving screen, and down went Wheeler, and she is still down on the floor.
No, they didn't call a moving screen that time. That one I thought was, and
Wheeler is in some pain.
Yeah, Griner has set some tough screens today.
Boy, we've seen some big-time collisions too. Shea Petty, and now grabbing her midsection is Erica Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler with 21 points, and you do not like to see anybody get hurt.
We'll take another look at it.
But again, we talked about the savvy play of Taurasi and how tight she cuts things and goes right shoulder to shoulder with the picker, which is what you're supposed to do, and she runs Wheeler right into it.
And it looks like Diana may have caught her with that left elbow to the midsection as Wheeler was trying to fight through that Griner screen. That left elbow right into the gut of Wheeler, who's being helped to her feet. She's had a terrific game with those 21 points that you mentioned, 9 of 19 from the field, 21 points and not one three-pointer. She's 0 for 4 deep, and you could just see the pain on her face.
And you think where her life and her career have gone, and she says just never give up. And you know, when she didn't make a team, she was down in Puerto Rico playing for $200 a week. And she went to Brazil and Turkey, and oh, that's tough. But you know, when she was in Indiana, she almost tied Tamika Catching's assist record. She had 141 in one season. I mean, she's so versatile and just has such a great attitude. And I think she's been a wonderful player for the LA Sparks and everywhere she's gone.
And she was so excited to join the Sparks, and in particular play with Nneka Ogwumike. The moment she signed with LA, Erica Wheeler said, "Nneka, are you ready to create the most unstoppable pick and roll combination in the league?" May want to talk to Tarazi Griner or Skylar and Griner about that, but ultimate confidence from Erica Wheeler. Hoping that
and she's so
be okay.
humble too, though. That's just it. She's not arrogant. She's just very hungry and grateful for her opportunities.
Back to an 18-point Phoenix lead. 4 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Garantes feeds Sykes. Pretty pass and the hoop.
Yeah, nice pass inside, and Sykes with a little back door right there and just getting an edge over Turner. And a little spin move right here and getting by Nurse, and already you see the play develop for the Sparks getting inside, and most of their shots have been inside. They're 5 of 18 from three-point range. This is only the 13th and free throw for them, and 26 free throws for the Mercury.
Three-point play for Brittany Sykes. It was a slow start for Phoenix in this one. They explode late in the third quarter, led by Diana Taurasi. Their biggest lead has been 19.
Yeah, Sykes with 11 points and 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Nice pass.
Oh, the jump shot wouldn't go for Bree Turner. Tried to catch it in midair, but couldn't put it in.
Yeah, usually Turner makes those shots. That would have been Griner's first assist in this game.
Oh, I think Brittany's telling her about that now. Turner's done another great job on the board.
I see Nurse had an easy layup, and she tried to create a foul, and she was too deep underneath the basket.
Cooper left open from deep, and down it goes. Timeout, Phoenix.
Now Cooper hitting her second three. She was hot early. She's got 18 points.
LA has shaved 7 points off the Phoenix lead. It's a 12-point edge for the Mercury. Tickets on sale now to catch the Phoenix Mercury take on the Minnesota Lynx June 30th and July 3rd for a Hoop and Heroes Night, and the Seattle Storm on July 9th. With the arena returning to full capacity, great lower level seats are available, so grab your tickets for these exciting matchups at phoenixmercury.com/single game. LA trying to cut it to single digits. They're down by 12, down by as many as 19. Wide open, Nurse got it, and Phoenix needed that.
Well, they ran a nice play again. They've really run good plays coming out of their timeouts, and there's penetration by Cooper getting to the basket with the layup. But the Mercury, I thought, had good ball movement, and they had cuts to the basket.
Phoenix trailed by 2 after the first quarter. LA playing with just 8 active players, but then Phoenix outscoring LA by 16 in quarters 2 and 3. Griner takes the drop-off pass from Turner. Offensive foul as she takes down 2 members of the LA Sparks. She went bowling under the basket.
Well, the Mercury attacking the basket, moving forward. You like to see it go north and south rather than east and west.
Griner, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 3rd personal foul, 3 on Taurasi, 3 on Kia Nurse. 2:35 to go here in the fourth.
Phoenix in a zone.
They've been in a zone most of the fourth quarter. Anigwe cleans up inside. So Christine Anigwe with her first field goal, but has 9 rebounds. Taurasi trying to drop it into Griner. The pass was deflected, and now a loose ball foul against Phoenix.
That's a 16th turnover. I don't know how many Taurasi has.
And that's the 4th team foul on Phoenix, so no free throws yet for the Sparks. Phoenix has been in the bonus for a good portion of this fourth quarter. Taya Cooper Picked up there by Nurse, bounce pass. Nia Coffey swings to her left hand, couldn't connect. And saved there by Skylar. Now Phoenix wants to take their time, get a good shot. Use some of those shot clock seconds. They could have salted this one away early in the fourth quarter. Skylar darts in for a pair.
Skylar just using the dribble so well, and Turner making a nice pick.
16 points for Skylar Diggins-Smith, the Olympian. Garantes offline, and here comes Diana Taurasi, playing 31 minutes so far. They penciled her in for 30 in her return after being out for 5 weeks with that fractured sternum. Ball on the floor. LA still scrapping, down by 13. Here comes Sykes, 3-on-1. Wide open Anigwe, bucket for LA. The lead is now 11, and another timeout by Sandy Brondello, forced to stop action instead of putting away this Sparks team. A little frustrating. You had mentioned trying to get some of these bench players some minutes, but if you're going to look on the bright side, Diana Taurasi playing the 31 minutes so far, but getting into game shape and should be nice and ready for Minnesota. Back-to-back games against the Lynx coming up, but having those minutes here this afternoon, back in game shape, and there we are back again on Bally Sports against Minnesota, back-to-back games. And we talked about how well Sylvia Fowles has been playing, Annie, on Friday against Vegas. First player ever with at least 30 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and 4 blocks in a game. Well,
for Brittany Griner to go up against not only Sylvia Fowles, then Liz Cambage and Asia Wilson in Vegas, and then Brianna Stewart, who's having an MVP year also with Seattle. I mean, Mercury have their work cut out from them. These are Vegas and Seattle, 2 top teams in the league right now, and Minnesota's been playing really well.
Well, that's a gauntlet, you're right, for Brittany Griner against those 3 teams. Visa Collier. That was an overtime win for Minnesota when Fowles put up those gaudy numbers, and Collier had 23 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. Just a fantastic talent. There's what's ahead for the LA Sparks. A couple games against Vegas and then 2 against Seattle. Talked about how bunched up the teams are in the standings. If Taurasi and the Mercury can hang on here, they move to 7-7, and the Sparks would fall 2 games below 500 and just wait for their starters to return, the Agwumake's and Christy Tolliver.
And even with Taurasi coming back for the Mercury, you know, this type of game, you're up 18, and you got to put your, you got to go at it. You cannot give up in a turnover, and Griner not able to hold on to it. So the Sparks really doing a good job on the defensive end. We said that they're number 1 in forcing turnovers. They've got 17 for the Mercury.
19-point lead is down to 11, but time running out for LA. Cooper. Garantes inside. The shot by Sykes wouldn't drop. Anigwe scrapping under the hoop and then thrown off of Anigwe by Diana Taurasi. Gets a slap 5 from Anigwe for the heads-up play.
Well, Taurasi was falling out of bounds and saw Anigwe right there.
Wasn't a high 5. It was kind of a low 5, but a definite sign of respect for that play by D. 40 seconds to go here in the fourth. Garantes right up in the mug of Skylar Diggins-Smith, and that's a tough pass. Griner is sandwiched by Anigwe and Cooper behind her. That is a really difficult pass to manage and to connect on, and we've got a foul, I believe. Let's see. Offensive foul on Griner. So that is.
And I know that Diggins-Smith was trying to get the ball into Griner, but when she's got 2 players on her, you've got to rotate the ball and move it.
And you can see she says, I got pushed.
You just cannot keep trying to force a pass into Griner when she's getting doubled and triple teamed.
Fumbling, scooping it up, taking it in.
A late call. A late call.
And that will be number 6 on Brittany Griner. And she is fired up. Oh, actually, they're going to call that on Taurasi and not Griner.
And Dee is so smart. Again, the veteran, she takes the foul because she knows she has fouls to give.
Ooh, Brittany is not happy right now. I'm
Taurasi,
not sure if she took a shot before
Well, I
the
think
foul.
she was upset. Certainly was upset about the offensive foul. But here is on the other side. But Taurasi, she comes down. You can see off the slap, and it's a little late call, but Taurasi does the right thing. She's got 4 fouls. As you said, Griner's got 5. She's fouled out of 1 game early this very beginning of the year against Connecticut.
Taurasi continues to bark at Tierra Cruz, the official. She's going to come out with those 5 personal fouls, replaced by Kia Vaughn, just inside of 18 seconds. This is not how Sandy Brondello scripted the 4th quarter.
I like how Sandy Brondello takes Griner out. She's got to cool her down, but also says, okay, we're not going to foul you out.
She is pacing up and down the sidelines, finally took a seat.
But don't expect LA not play.
So Phoenix can dribble out the final seconds.
And the home crowd is loving it.
Down go the LA Sparks, a gallant effort with only 8 active players, but Phoenix wins it, and they even up their record at 7-7, and the return of Diana Taurasi was a successful one. 25 points for Taurasi to lead all scores. She hit 4 threes, went 9 of 9 from the line, 22 for Brittany Griner, and 15 rebounds for Bree Turner.
Yeah, the Mercury did a nice job in the 3rd quarter. I thought that they controlled the pace. Give credit to the Sparks. I thought that first half they just attacked. They were aggressive. Wheeler and Cooper, you know, this is a guard-oriented team for the LA Sparks, but they just don't have the height inside as the Mercury out-rebounded LA 43-32.
We'll put a wrap on it. 88-79, Mercury over the Sparks here from downtown Phoenix.